kick us off with a recap. Again, the rules are D4 or roll on a loot table. I don't think loot table has been particularly lucky this last couple, but who knows? Could happen.
But maybe it'll work for us.
Yeah, maybe.
Anything could happen.
So, whoever would like to do it, take it away.
I have the hiccups. Somebody else go.
Yeah, I nosed.
My notes are gone. My notes are gone.
Dan?
My memory is not good about what happened last session.
I remember the end of last session.
Yeah, I also kind of remember the end of last session. All right, I'll give it a go.
The old college try.
Yeah, I'll give it the old college try. So we had just left. Where was it? Was it Deepwater the last place that we were in, or was it the place after that?
Yeah, you were just in Deepwater.
Okay, yeah. So we were left Deepwater that morning, right? And we headed we head towards Tillshire, right? And Tillshire was a large farming town, basically feeds the Luminous army, and it had interestingly enough, it had a population of wood elves that were self-segregating.
All coming back now.
And we stayed there the night, and then we continued to head further south. As we were traveling in South Turia, we noticed that there were people that had kind of more extreme physical features, like they're either very tall or very short, like there's no in between. Very on the odd ends of the extremes for physicality. And there was also large companies of Luminous that we noticed that were marching in formation further south. Like there is sort of regiment or sort of place that they were heading towards. And then we stopped for the night on one of the sides of the roads in this little camp area that other travelers use that we find ourselves in. There was what we're assuming is some traders with a family and a guard up above us. There's kind of some lone warrior dude to the south, and then we're kind of on our lonesome on the outside there. Iris set up her was it a cabin, her workshop?
Yeah,
cabin,
it's like the workshop tent.
That we stayed in, and we took turns on watch. And while Iris was on watch, the invisible stalker charmed Felix and got him out of the tent and brought him over into the fire, which quickly woke all of us up, and we helped prevent Felix from being killed and or abducted or both. And interestingly to note, the invisible stalker also attacked Jara, myself, which was not a fun time. And it ended up with spirit guardians really messing the invisible stalker up, and so it ran away essentially. And we haven't been able to find it. And then we kind of talked with the guards a little bit that we're traveling with those merchant people, and they might help us out. Comes back, or they might not. But that's about it. I probably missed some stuff, but
I think the only thing you missed is you had a grand theory that you wanted to share.
Oh yeah, well,
also Sir Fabian. Right. But that's
Yeah.
all. That's a very minor thing. Never mind. Sorry. Go ahead with your theory.
Well, it was we ended we ended the conversation where that I basically mentioned that I thought Professor Einhard, who was the man that we were told about from Zima, that I thought he might be behind the invisible stalker, and that's why it also attacked me, because I have some history with him. And then we kind of ended the session where I was going to get a little bit more into my background.
Okay, indeed. So, with that, you can take D4 or your loot table, What are you choosing?
I'll loot table it. That's fine. I don't think we're gonna need either really tonight, so I'll loot table it
Yeah,
just in
please.
case.
Okay. All right, loot table it is. And we open session at the end of battle. It was a very anticlimactic ending. There really was no ending. It just was fizzled out, for lack of a better word.
Little stalker ran away.
Yeah, like tens of minutes have passed and nothing has happened. So, you know, yeah. Well, what do you guys want to do?
All right. Well, I guess as we're sitting here by the fire, making sure we're still all right, I probably should go in a little more detail about why I think going to Professor Einhardt's a bad idea and why I think he might be tangled up in all this. I mean, it seems like our paths are kind of sufficiently intertwined anyway. So I can give you, I guess it feels right to give you all kind of a little more background at my time at the Solstice Academy where, I did all that magic training.
I guess we didn't really know too much about what you've done before, haven't we?
Yeah, we knew that you were investigating stuff. That's about it.
Right, yeah. So I was at the academy for several years. I think maybe 4 years. I was actually a few years away from graduating, but that didn't pan out. But so I guess I kind of start. I guess you guys may know the Solstice Academy is the most prestigious school for magics on the continent. It's a big deal to even be noticed by the academy, and mainly if you're going to be noticed by them, you either are going to have to be really wealthy, or someone very famous, or you need like a patron to kind of back you to the school to say that you're worth their time. Me being a commoner, I was also nominated by an important business person that our family deals with, and that's what got me nominated to the school. But even just being nominated isn't kind of really enough to gain admittance. To actually go to the Solstice Academy, you need to pass a difficult entrance exam, and then to stay admitted at the school, you need to keep above a B average. You can't fail anything. And then after your first year, there's like another really difficult exam called the Crucible that you need to pass. And that's only if you're a commoner, and you're jumping through all these hoops as a common person, and you're kind of treated like you're a second class citizen while you're there. Like your facilities are worse, the opportunities you have are less. Your curriculum is stricter, like I mentioned. But if you're rich and powerful, the experience is very different for you. You get admitted for free. You don't have to pass through any of those exams. Either through your connections or through donations, you get in. You have nicer facilities. Your access to the professors is much greater, and you kind of have the ability to coast through your academic work. You can have like a C average and it'd be fine. Hell, I knew some mages who failed out of the academy that are better than those who stayed in just because of wealth and status. So it's kind of rough. But not everything there was bad.
If I might observe, this place sounds horrendous.
Yeah, well, it's what I learned, and I'll touch more on this in a second. Is it's kind of a microcosm view of how our society is now, and like when I realized that, that's what spurred me to leave. But there was some good nobles there. Like I did meet some really nice people. In fact, I did meet someone there who was better than anyone else I knew. She grew up wealthy. Her family was a powerful merchant family, but she didn't let that her wealth corrupt her integrity. She wanted to better not only those around her, but the continent as a whole. She kind of dreamed of a place where everyone was equal, no matter no matter what your lineage was, or what your background. And she was kind of only attending the academy to gain power to make that dream a reality. So we became friends, and then we fell in love. And over time, her dream became mine, and we decided to take steps towards enacting that dream by changing the social well-being of the academy. We started a commoners' rights organization on the campus. We had peaceful protests for kind of just basic things like improved facilities. We weren't asking anything too crazy. However, all of those peaceful protests, that kind of always ended with violence from, those who deemed they were better than those above. And it was around this time when I was doing this protesting work that I met Professor Einhart. And like I said, as you heard from Zima, he is a mage of much renown, and he's known for his skill and his power. Jared, before we go on, I kind of just want to do a perception check to make sure we're kind of alone.
Sure.
No one's listening in.
Go ahead and roll.
All right, so that is perception. That is going to be not great, but it's a 7.
To your knowledge, it's late in the evening. The people that you interacted with during the encounter want nothing to do with you because they think you're crazy. So you're pretty isolated here. And if worse comes to worse, you can just go into Iris's tent. You feel pretty confident.
That's true. All right, well, I think we're sufficiently alone. But so it turns out, and I need you all to promise me that you're going to keep this information to yourself for kind of the safety of you as well as just us as a whole. But it turns out that Professor Einhart is part of a very secret and very powerful organization of mages in Ostanza called the Spectral Archon. I don't know if that name rings bells to anyone, or if you know who they are, but the Spectral Archon, they're pretty much ingrained in every facet of the government, and depending on what circle you're talking to, they might even hold more sway and more power than the king of Ostanza himself. I was being recruited by Professor Einhart to join as an initiate to Spectral Archon. I had him as a professor for one of my classes. Something about my talent or work ethic or something must have stuck out, and he offered to give me extra tutoring, and is the one who told me about the Spectral Archon and that I could be a potential initiate from them, while receiving his extra tutoring. However, once the protesting kind of came to a head, I was told that the Spectral Archon wasn't a fan of the light that the activist work was shining on me at the academy. I guess they wanted me to be more of a kind of like a low profile. But they basically gave me an ultimatum. They said I would need to stop the protesting, stop my community work, or I would stop being considered as an initiate. And, thinking about it now, it kind of makes perfect sense that a group based off of the greed and power of, powerful men would want to continue to repress a whole group of people. And they would also want to remain secret, but being young and naive as I was, I thought I could have my cake and eat it too, and do both at the same time. And then it happened. It happened at a rally outside the student government building. We were protesting for a position in the government, the student body government, that could only be held by a commoner, so we could have equal representation on the student government during administrative decisions that kind of affected the student body as a whole. Just wanted to get our voice heard. And it was during this protest that I saw Professor Einhart across the courtyard. And I stepped out of the rally to go speak with him because I saw on his face, he wasn't happy seeing me there, especially after I told him that I would stop. And as I stepped out, there was a massive explosion behind me. and I was the only one in the group who made it. And as I get to this part, I take off, my robe and I take off my shirt, and you guys realize that you actually haven't seen me without like the top half of me before. This past few weeks that we've been traveling, like I've always had my cloak on. And as I turn around, you can see that my whole back is covered in just like burn scars, like second, third degree burn scars all over my back. I'll wear this as a remembrance of the day and the lengths that those in power go to keep their iron grip over us common folk. And, of course, the Academy, they conducted an investigation that deemed that it was an unfortunate accident caused by some student's magical experiment or some bullshit story like that. But I know the truth. I don't think it's a coincidence that I saw Einhart in the courtyard that day, and that the explosion occurred right after we made eye contact. I'm not sure if he was actually trying to kill me or just send a message to me, but either way, I did learn something very valuable. I learned that this continent is sick. It's sick with an illness of greed and corruption that infects everyone in power. And if that sickness is not cured, then this continent will see war, it will see death, and it will see destruction in the form of another great reckoning, just like it has twice before. History will repeat itself. And I'll be damned if I let that happen. I plan to cure that illness and then make her dream a reality if it's the last thing I do. I will die on this mission. As for Einhart, I know I'm going to have to face him at some point if I want to accomplish this goal. I just don't know if the time is right. I don't know if we're at the level where we can handle someone of his power and connection. I mean, at the time I worked with him, I know he was working on a spell similar to the Silent Assassin that is afflicting you right now, Felix. So
Really?
I don't know if it was just a theory at the time. It was a spell he was working on. But the fact that it just attacked me kind of confirms my suspicion that Einhart might have been contracted for the attack, or someone in the Spectral Archon might have been contracted and they, got Professor Einhart to do it. But, he must have completed the spell, and, maybe it was the broker that contracted him to do it. And when he failed the first time, and we knew that there was some sort of connection between the Silent Assassin and the caster, if he saw that I was one of the people that helped prevent the Silent Assassin from, getting you the first time,
Right.
it kind of only makes sense that, he would add my head to the chopping block as well as someone else to go after. What I do know is that we can't let him or the Spectral Archon get their hands on the relic that we're carrying. I think that would be almost as bad if we let the Demon Butler keep it. But, currently, I just think our best course of action is to hand this off to the priests of Ioun, and hopefully they can ensure its destruction. Either that, or we kind of keep it until we can destroy it ourselves. But,
Wow.
yeah, I know that was a lot, and I just dropped all that on you, but it's kind of, like I said, it's happened. The connections are there. It can't be ignored, and I just feel like you all should be informed about it.
Well, I've been trying to wonder what you have gotten up to before meeting with this group, and that is not the story I was expecting.
Yeah, it wasn't. Of course, I'm not happy that it happened, but it did give me purpose, and that's why I left. I left the academy because I tried enacting change locally at the academy, and I learned quite heavily that it's not possible. They're not going to let me do it. So I knew I had to leave. If I was to achieve my goal, I couldn't stay. And so I set out, and I just tried to learn what's going on in the world and do my part to help. And I mean, I feel like we're on the right path. We did stop, that priest of a god of chaos. Like, we have this relic. We're obviously doing doing something right.
Yeah, we're doing something right enough for them to want us dead.
Exactly. So I feel like we're on the right path. I just want to make sure we're not, running too far along that path. We're not ready yet. Essentially.
So if you don't mind me asking, how were you made aware that Einhard is part of this group? Did he tell you voluntarily?
He told me, yeah. So.
Oh, okay.
That's why he swore me to secrecy, and that's why I ask you all to do the same, to not let this information out.
You have my word.
I have told no one. You lot are the first people who I've told this information to. But yeah, he told me himself. He said that he worked for the organization, and they were impressed with my ability and my work ethic, and they thought there could be a spot for me on there, but I would, need to do some extra work with him in order to achieve the lengths of, power and greatness or whatever they were looking for to actually be able to. So straight out of the horse's mouth.
Yeah, gotcha.
So if what you're saying is true, what's to stop Einhard from sending even more powerful entities after us?
Well, the reason why the San Assassin is such a great tool is it can't be linked back to him, right? So he can't do anything too noticeable that might draw eyes back to the Spectral Archon. They're very covert, very secret. So I think that's why the San Assassin choice that he's going with, because it'll look like we died from some other cause, not something that could be traced back to anyone else.
There's also a layer between him and you, and it's me, right? Like it could look like, oh, you were just caught in the crossfire of this broker thing,
right?
But really, he got what he wanted. Yeah.
How do you know about that?
Well, we don't know, right?
My theory is that someone, the broker who everything you've said about him, like he's one of the rulers of Karth or something, right? So he's got powerful connections. So
he's a powerful entity of Karth, yeah.
He would be able to get in contact with the Spectral Archon, and if he struck up a bargain with them to get Felix, and then Einhard somehow through the Silent Assassin saw that I just happened to be with Felix, he'd be like, oh, this is like a 2-for-1 special right now. I'm gonna take the the BOGO and kill both.
Oh, actually, sorry, I have written down on my Felix opens his notebook. He's I believe the broker is based in Jarus.
Right,
based on information.
Karth is the continent or the country, right?
No, Jarus is in where we are, Turia.
Oh, all right. Well,
make a history check, Felix.
Sure. I got something wrong.
No, you're right. You're actually right.
Okay. 18.
Okay. So give me 1 sec. I'm pulling this up here too. Okay. So there is no broker in Karth. This is a creation of Tura, or outside of Karth at least. However, during your time in Karth, you would have heard through the grapevine special dealings with the broker, especially where you grew up and what your parents did. The broker was kind of the competition to the procurer, which is the Karthian equivalent. The procurer is somebody who is really good at smuggling shit in. And the broker is somebody who's really good at connecting people, cutting deals, oftentimes illegally. And so the name the broker is obviously reminds you of the recent information you've uncovered from him. But also, it wouldn't be a far shot to say that the broker could be doing something, could have cut a deal either directly or indirectly with the Spectral Archon or those in power. It's not a
Yeah.
an
The broker
unrealistic.
has his hand in everyone's pocket, so he definitely could have been involved in this.
But the reason for the history check, because it's been a while since we played, this is maybe a real life history check too. Recent discovery that you guys have uncovered is Christoph Columbia's book and this City of Gold. And the broker is very secretive in things he does. And the fact that you've heard his name a few times now means he's poking his head up, which means something is going on that's important enough for him to do so. And the City of Gold, or this book, may be a part of that chain somewhere.
Well, damn.
All right. Well, is it the broker that wants you dead, Felix, or is it someone else in Karth that I'm
Well,
misremembering?
at first, I thought that it was my old gang. I thought it was just they were upset about what happened, the circumstances of my departure, and they had to clean up the mess that I made. But I don't think it's that simple anymore. I had a religious moment. I prayed to the Raven Queen, and I was given a vision, more like a memory, but I'm not sure it was my memory, of a past event, a conversation between some unknown person, Tyron Capardi of all people, and the man that I killed, I believe, or no, just Tyron. Oh fuck, I'm struggling to follow my own conspiracy board. I was given a vision, and that led me to believe that the broker was behind all this.
Well, if he's someone of power, then he certainly would have be able to gain audience with Spectral Archon.
Okay. Well, I think we have to do some more digging. Maybe look into this City of Gold. If it's this related to everything that's going on.
Well, I do have. All right. Well, I guess this is going into more info. I have a lead on the second book about the City of Gold, right? So we remember it's like it's a 2-book set, right?
Yeah.
And we found one of them.
The lost one.
Of the lost one, I know where the second one was last heard at. And all right, so take another step back. I have a comrade in Lothros who I met on my travels, and I communicate him with him weekly. We exchange information on a weekly basis through a magical notebook that we share. And he has informed me that in Lothros, which is a city off the eastern coast of Astanza, that the second book of Christoph Columbia's journal was held there, and it's missing, but it was there, and they're kind of scrambling to find it.
Does he know that we have the second book or the first book?
I
Lost book?
do not believe that I told him that. No, I'm fairly certain I did. No, he just told me that in his response. So how it works is I send him an update, and then he sends a response back. So I didn't tell him that I have it, but his response back this past week was about it. So it was just kind of.
And in his response, if you recall, the week prior is when something was taken.
Right.
And
so
this week he figured it out.
Yeah, so he just knew that when I heard from him 2 weeks ago, he knew something was missing and was going to investigate. And then this week he came back and said he found out that the item that was so called to be gone was that second book from Christoph Columbia.
All right. Well, we I think we have a lot more to do. A lot.
I
A lot.
guess that's next on the list.
And well, that's not all. Professor Onhart's supposed to be there with some other members of the academy in about 6 weeks, which I don't think is a coincidence.
In Lothros.
In Lothros, yeah.
Oh.
In 6 weeks, Professor Onhart and a few other members of the academy, they're heading out there under some sort of guise as a recruitment event, but that's bullshit. They don't really recruit people for the academy like that. It's just a cover story. I think it's the Spectral Archon wants something to do with Christoph Columbus's journal and that lost city and whatever treasure it has on there. And I think he's being sent out there to basically figure out what the hell happened with the book and where it went.
And is the Spectral Archon an Austensian entity, or is it just a Caldronian entity?
They work on a continental scale, but they are based in Ostanza.
Okay.
Which, if you recall, the lore of the world. Also, I'm just realizing this green dot in the middle. I never.
Yeah, I'm like, what is that there for?
Is this someone drew that? No.
That is black to me. It is not green.
Yeah, it's black to me.
Interesting.
Yep, does not look erasable.
I don't know what that is.
It's
That's
kinda there.
Not
Black
supposed
hole.
to be there. Yeah. It's someone's portable black hole. But the background lore of the world, if you remember, Ostanza was the single empire kingdom, and Turin
Yeah.
broke off.
Right.
So-
Right.
So yeah.
Oh, so they might predate that separation.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't know much about the history of the past, but certainly the present. They are heavily based in Ostanza proper, but they do have their fingers and agents across the continent.
All right. Well, I think I know where we'll be in 6 weeks. If we can find a way over there.
Well, we have that option of portaling our way through the archive, right? That might help.
I don't know if the archive can take us that far. I mean, I believe they're.
There are archives. No, there's archives in Ostanza. They're more
The
restrictive.
archives in Karth, as far as I'm aware.
They're more restrictive, but they do exist.
All right.
So, with all of that knowledge out in the air, you guys can feel free to resume your long rest. We left off with Iris on watch. She has a double watch. So we will pick up with Iris on watch. Is there anything else you guys would like to say or discuss before we take a long rest here? I don't want to cut this conversation short.
I think I'm good.
Iris wouldn't have anything else.
All good.
Okay. Gara, you got everything out?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, Iris takes up watch after quite a bit of conversation and a very tense battle. That was short in duration, but maybe thinking about it now after having sat and discussed other things, you get the feeling that maybe this encounter wasn't designed to kill. It was more to send a message, perhaps. But either way, Iris, roll me a perception check.
All right, it's gonna be a 10.
Okay. While on watch, the campfire rages on as you feed it more wood, tend to it. A slight breeze picks up. Cool evening, despite being more southern in the continent and otherwise more tropical climate where you're approaching. Nothing happens. Your end watch is not eventful, thankfully. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, just reviewing my notes to make sure, you had a double. So roll me one more.
All right, Oh, that's even worse. It's a 5.
All right. Once again, the sun starts to peek through the trees towards the end of your watch, starting to become sunrise, early morning. Beautiful day. Actually, roll for me on the weather table. Roll a d8.
We have a 7 on the weather table.
Yeah, it's a very nice morning. It's pretty warm.
Quick question.
Mhm.
With the camping setup, were folks camping outside of the workshop tent, or were folks inside it?
Felix would have been inside after last
Yeah.
night.
Okay.
I'm also inside.
Okay.
If
Iris,
Iris allowed.
yeah, that would have been fine. Iris with a 3 probably would have assumed that nothing was going to happen in the second set of her watts, so she's going back in to start working on that gun,
Okay,
on
sure.
that arcane weapon again. She's like, there's nothing here. Everything's fine. Maury, keep an eye out.
So, you were tracking how many you have left, correct?
Yes. Let me grab my notes.
It was 4.
Yep, I'm 3 out of 7 on that arcane handheld.
Yeah, 4 left.
So 4 more to go.
All right, go ahead. You get 1 roll here.
Okay. Is this a particular tools check?
It's basically like I forget what we call this. It's like your alchemical check, equivalent to Felix.
Okay,
I don't know.
alchemist supplies. Got
Yeah.
it. Okay. That's a 31 with on a natural 20.
A natural 20. That counts as 2 wins.
Let's fucking go.
You're
Nice.
blazing through this. This is a pretty difficult. Yeah, it's like I believe in your previous vision, it was granted to you that you were a tinker of sorts in some past life, if that is in fact you. You pick it up naturally. It's seriously like riding a bike for you. You haven't ridden a bike in a while, but now that you are, it's second nature, and you're hitting a good velocity here on improvements. And as a result, you have, I think even the last check you got was a nat 20.
I think so.
I think so too. So you're cruising. You kind of got the schematic down. You're in the groove. And unfortunately, the watch suffers as a result. However, you're very, very close to crafting a pretty difficult item. So, well done. With that, though, the final watch is Thera. All right. Thera, you're up to take us through to the morning. I guess just to describe the weather briefly, it's pretty humid. It's probably mid 60s already, picking up rather quickly. All right, roll me a perception check.
19.
Okay. 19, you start, once you get outside, maybe an hour into your watch, you see the warrior that was in the southern part of the camp leave. He kind of puts out his fire, the ashes, kicks them out, dumps some water on them, readies his horse, and heads out rather quickly. You notice when he's traveling out that he's actually traveling rather light, like in terms of supplies, which is a little odd, but seems to be seasoned nonetheless and breaks camp very quickly. And you are just now seeing towards the tail end of your watch the other people on the hill further up with the 2 kind of guard with them. The kids are awake. Presumably the mother and father are out to having a breakfast around the fire. You see one of the guard return with a rabbit that they've hunted in the morning, and they seem to be preparing that, skinning it, and probably going to salt it so they can travel with it. Other than that, it's pretty nice morning. Quiet watch. No signs of any shadow creatures in fire, which is good. But your friends awake, so you can all mark off a full rest.
All right, and we roll on the loot table for that, right?
Yeah, that's how that works, right?
Wake up every morning and get loot. That's probably a rap song somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah, in this universe.
Yeah.
That's
wake
Sir
up-
Fabian.
The guy who was selling fancy shoes probably has a rap song
Yeah.
for that.
I wake up
Yeah.
in the morning and I get the loot. Okay. What would you guys like to do? If you recall, you were traveling Sunday now.
We're like here, right?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
No,
Keep
sorry.
going south.
Or sorry. Oh yeah, wait.
You are
Right.
trying. You're somewhere in between.
Okay, we are on our way from here to there. Okay.
Yeah, this was
So-
Tilshire. This was Deepwater.
Before we head out, Therathari has his armor of Dwarmer, which every day gives him either +1 to strength rolls or 10 temporary hit points distributed among any willing
Yes.
creatures. He's been using it on himself, but after last night, he's going to give 5 to Felix and 5 to Jara.
Oh wow.
Oh,
So kind.
Alright. So that is good for 8 hours. Sorry, it's good until your next long rest, right?
Yes, until the next.
Until you
long
make the
rest.
next decision.
Thank you, Therathari. Much appreciated.
Yes, well,
yeah, I appreciate that.
don't take it as a license to stand in the front lines, but
Trust me, I never do.
Yeah, I will not.
All right. So, a full day of travel will get you to your next stop. Okay. Is there anything particular you guys would like to do while traveling? Anything you'd like to discuss? Any rough downtime activities that you'd like to do?
Downtime activities, just like when we take breaks and stuff, I want to keep reading my sheep notebook. I gotta try to speed through the closing in on the end. I'm on the second one,
Yes.
so that's what.
Anyone else?
Yeah. Given last night's revelations, I think it was for a different academy, but I just want to double check the letter of recommendation that Jay Sean wrote me.
Okay. It
What
wa-
what,
Mhm.
what academy was that for?
This is for Moradin's Academy. This is it's a Moradin's Academy of Science. It's a Turian institution, although people from all over the continent go there. But this is for alchemy, craftsmen, that kind of skilled labor, and
Okay.
magic, but not like a studied wizard, Hogwarts-esque.
Gotcha. So at some point, I'd probably say to Jara, Jara, what do you know about Moradin's Academy of Science?
Oh, what do I know, Jared?
Roll a history check.
Oh, that's not bad. That's actually very good. History is a 23.
Okay. Let me zoom to the other map. Okay. So, the Moradin's Academy of Science is located in Odenmeyer, and it's in Ostanza. Another institution in Ostanza, right there. It's very near the border, and for a while, it was the borders of Ostanza and Turia were shifting constantly. No Man's Land was kind of shrinking and growing in size as the front initially during that civil war, the battles drew on. Since it's peacetime, Odenmeyer has fallen into the control of Ostanza. So, I'll give you this history check. What was the number again you got, Dan?
23.
Yeah. So I'll give it to you in two parts. The first part is prior to Ostanza taking control, and under the control of Ostanza will be the second part. So I'll keep it pretty brief. But the high level of Moradin's, it's an academy of trade skills, alchemy, carpentry, things like this, metalworking. And it was originally founded by hill dwarves that lived there. Moradin is the founder, and it was originally just for dwarves, having been established in Odenmeyer, which is this subterranean inside like the Sunder Peak Mountains kind of civilization. The reason why Moradin's today is super relevant is because some of the strongest alloys come from there. which is part of the reason why Ostanza fought very hard to have it in their empire border. But there's a special alloy that's formed there because it sources from internal magma pools that reach a certain temperature. It's very complicated science, which is what they're known for as the Academy of Science. So prior to that, Ostanza taking control of it, it sourced, or the Luminous soldiers had a lot of armor and weapons and things like that made from this alloy. And unfortunately, that source has dried up for them. And you can see very occasionally captains have armor made from the special alloy there. It's called Mordanium. Very rare, but very strong base, keeps a good edge. Anyway, so that's the history of it before. Now, under the influence of Ostanza, the Spectral Archon is interested, as well as the Ostanzan Crown, because, as has been hinted at many times, there is a Cold War going on, and having this really strong mine and metallurgy around it is a super big advantage. And so you don't really know, Jara, what the latest is, but you imagine it's probably suffering a fate similar to the Solstice Academy.
Well, Felix, I actually spent some time in Ardinia, which is just kind of southeast of Odenmeyer, where it's located, and I can definitely tell you that tensions in that area are quite high. With no man's land being so close, and kind of the conflict, or I guess the ever looming conflict between Ostanza and Turia, it's definitely like people are afraid it could pop off at any minute. I haven't been there myself, but from what I've heard from other people at the academy, it's prized for its mines and the alloys and armor that you get from it. Which is why Ostanza wanted it, because anything for them to get an edge, right?
Right.
But I mean, I don't know. Is there anything specific that you want to know about it, other than just?
I was really just wondering if, because before we met you, or actually, maybe the day we met you, I got a letter of recommendation there from an ally of ours, in Tura. So I was wondering, I mean, I basically have an inn there. I could, so I was just wondering if it might be useful to us, given that it's another academy in Ostanza, might have some connections to the Spectral Archon, but it sounds like it's kind of a different type of thing. So maybe not.
Well, I can't speak to, I guess, like the social status there. Like, I don't know if it's going to be any better than how it was at the Solstice Academy, but I mean, it does look like if you're there just for craftsmanship's sake, I mean, they have some of the nicest alloys and metals, armors and weapons, things like that come out of there. There's certainly a lot of great minds in that field that, I've read some papers during my time. They make high quality items that hold enchantments really well. So, in my early enchantment classes, when we were learning about it, that the academy came up a lot, just like the quality of the craft, how that affected, the alloys affected how well the magic holds on to it. So,
good to know.
Yeah, I mean, it can't hurt. Could be useful at some point. I certainly wouldn't discount it.
Yeah, we'll keep it in mind. I just was wondering if it was maybe a little bit more relevant to our current mission, but probably not.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in the Spectral Archon is located in the school. I'm sure they probably work closely with people in the school. Spectral Archon is largely made up of mages and wizards, and one of the main things that they love is just powerful magic. So I'm sure they probably gotten work made, right? So they could enchant really high quality items with really strong enchantments for themselves. But I think typically it's more pure magic users that go into that Sharkon. At least that's who they typically will recruit from.
Gotcha.
All right. So, with that said, I'll bring us back to the map that we've been looking at. Hey, buddy. You want to play?
Roll for initiative.
Oh my god. It's so big.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
He's a big boy now. He's grown. Grown too much. All right. So, back to your travels. So, with that information out of the way, any other questions or anything else you'd like to do before I have Jara roll for me?
All good.
I'll do
Nothing
that.
else on my end.
Okay. So, Jara, roll me an intelligence check.
Nat 1. I feel like I always nat 1 these goddamn intelligence
Oh,
checks
no.
to read this freaking book. Every
Rather-
single time.
Jara can do everything but read.
Apparently.
He just likes the smell of the books.
I'm getting high off the parchment smell, yeah.
So,
That's two. I think last time I got a nat 1 trying to read this book too.
yeah.
You're getting the inverse of Paul's luck.
That's true. There's always balance.
It all balances out.
About your scales.
Unfortunately, yeah, you're distracted at over. Maybe you're contemplating if you've overshared. You know, that information is you've kept this, close to the vest for your entire journey up until this point. So that weighs heavily on your mind and distracts you from your reading. So you aren't able to glean anything really meaningful. You'll probably have to reread those chapters to really get anything back out. But you also take comfort in the fact that maybe it's also the writing that's gone. Because this guy is, at this point, basically
Right. It's not me.
insane.
This guy's just nuts.
Yeah. So
Or
maybe
hard
that
to
also
understand.
helps.
It's not my fault.
The DC is higher, but still natural one. Anyway. Okay. With that, you guys travel. So I told you it was in between, it was on the Twin Steps path, East Temple to Ayun, somewhere around the Grove.
Yeah, it was down south.
So your next stop, if you recall, is Leafside, a very humble, super duper small.
Oh, it's
Town.
a baby village.
Oh, I love this. We're gonna wreak some
Is-
havoc here.
One thing that's interesting, upon entering, which you do so in the evening, there is a dried up, what you look probably once was some kind of creek or
Oh wow.
flowing water that has completely dried up. The ground there is caked. There's little pools. When it rains, it collects there, but it is not. There's no water. There's no river. There's no flowing anything. You can see there are boats that are kind of left there and in various states of decay. There's an abandoned water mill, probably ground, wheat and all that. This humble town has been heavily impacted by this drying up of the water. It was a lot of the lifeblood of this quaint little village. And as a result, you can see most of the fields are empty or have dying or dead crop. The trees... Mhm.
What's this town name again?
Leafside, Leef side, one word. The trees around it have died or are withering away. There's this weird. What is this black dot?
Yeah, if you zoom out, it goes away. I don't know what the hell it is.
Is there like something blocking a light? Wait. I don't know. That's so weird. Yeah, there's one over here too. Okay, well,
Oh, yeah.
at least it's not my map.
Whatever.
Whatever. What you notice, yeah, are these trees that are dying and are the shrubbery, the crop, the vegetation, all of it seems to be withering. And you can see there are dilapidated houses that have either been abandoned or falling, falling in on themselves. It's kind of a sad sight. you can your mind wanders, your imagination carries, and you kind of see maybe what this once was. But what it currently is a very sad little village with not too many people left. But it'll have to do. It has lodging, probably the only thing keeping it afloat. And just so you're aware, you're entering here and leaving here. And this is north. This is south. This is east. This is west. Okay.
Alright.
Well, if we can, if we have the time, let's try to bring the water back to what is this place called?
Leafside.
Let's bring the water back to Leafside.
How
How do you suppose I'm doing
propose
that?
we do that?
Yeah.
Rain dance.
We should try. I don't know. Let's do some investigating today while we're
Alright.
here.
Is there anyone around?
Roll me a perception check.
Of course, now I roll a fucking 19. I got a perception 21.
All right, why don't you all roll, since you're all traveling on the same path here.
Oh, it's super cocked.
Rolling what?
23.
Investigation?
Perception, investigation.
Oh, perception.
Whatever you'd like.
Oh, okay. 15.
Okay. Paul and Tom.
Investigation is a. I can do math. 15.
What'd you get, Tom?
2 23s, 2 15s.
23.
Very nice. Okay, nice easy numbers. All right. So walking through the rows of dead crop, tilled soil that's been kind of caked over, you do see occasionally in the distance, tending to like some of the decayed crop people. They seem to be. Did you just roll? What was that?
I rolled in that one apparently.
Yeah, you did.
What happened?
Classic.
Wait, can you? If you roll, does it? What happens?
Yeah. Clicked on it.
Oh, it does say. It does announce. Interesting. Yeah, so you do see people in the rows of crop occasionally, very sparingly. And there's no one really out on the main path here. You do see a pack of stray dogs kind of running around. No livestock, really. Although I do have sheep here, which technically is invalid. There's no sheep here.
Those are the
Sorry.
stray dogs.
Those are the stray dogs. Yeah, sheep dogs.
Yeah.
They
Sheep
exist.
dogs.
Yes. So your investigation essentially yields you could track somebody down if you'd like, but so far you haven't seen anyone that is easy to wave down.
Alright, well, maybe we find where we're staying and
Yeah.
there'll be some people there.
Right. Hopefully the inn is still functional. And hopefully they have some running water.
All right.
Wow.
This the inn is this building. This is the church. And the rest are mixed between shops and homesteads. This is a bakery. In case anyone
Bakery
is interested in
Needs
that.
water.
Correct. This over here is a general store. And this place sells horses. It actually has some. All right.
Okay.
So if you'd like to go to the inn, you can. It's called Leafside Inn. Plain and simple as that. And it is currently not booked at all. Empty.
And
completely empty.
Jared, if you wouldn't mind, could you just explain this? Are these just people camped out, like homeless people, or?
No, sorry. This is a market, or these are stalls
okay.
for a market. The only stall here that is open is this one. The rest seem to have closed signs, and they look like they've been closed for a while.
Okay.
Good question. And then this is obviously a central fire that is not going at the moment, and then there's seating around it.
Gotcha.
Good question.
All right. Yeah. So we were in the inn.
Yeah, so Leafside Inn, a young halfling lady named none other than Godiva is greeting you. and she says, "Hey, welcome in. Looking for a place to rest your head?"
Yeah, we're intending to stay the night.
Wonderful, wonderful. Let's see what we have available. You can see she's playing it up a little bit. Would you like separate rooms, rooming together? We have some space. We could fit you all in a separate room if you'd like.
I think we usually just do 2 rooms, if that's okay.
Of course. 2 rooms. All right. Would you follow me?
Sure.
She'll take some keys, lead you down a hallway up the. This is a 3-story building. You're on the 3rd floor, and she'll bring you into the 2 rooms. So there's 1 room here, and 1 room here.
Nice and easy.
Nice.
How much was it?
It's gonna cost you for 1 night for those 2 rooms. It's gonna cost you in total 6 gold.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll pay 2.
Iris will knock the other 2, sure.
I like forcing these dilemmas onto you guys.
Yeah.
The weird.
It's never gonna be a multiple of 4.
Nope. I like it. It makes me happy.
Jara's gonna. Well, I guess while she's leading us there, I'm gonna go. So I see the creek dried up that you guys had. How long ago did that happen?
Oh, yeah. It's been quite some years, unfortunately. It comes and goes, but hasn't come in a while.
Where does it come from? Like what body of water?
There's a natural lake up a ways, a couple miles. It's a heavily wooded area. We've sent some scouts up there, and that seems to have dried too. So the source.
The whole
seems-
lake.
Yeah, just gone. There's rainy seasons we get, and it fills up, but it goes quick. We just haven't had a particularly rainy season. You know, Jebediah thinks it's my husband. You might see him around here. He has a crazy theory that the weather's been weird the last couple of years. Well, some of the town folk starting to believe him. Hell, I may even too. We haven't gotten a lick of water in a while.
What do they believe causes the issue?
Well, you ask my husband, he'll tell you we've been overcropping the land, over farming, and this is our karma, as he calls it. Never heard of that word. He kind of made it up.
So like a punishment from the gods, almost.
Maybe, yeah. And some people think it's just nature, and sometimes the land isn't fertile forever. It's happened before, it happens again, and that's why most of these folk haven't moved on. But we're holding out hope. We've been here our whole life, and well, God's willing, we'll die here too.
Well, I know it's not much, but I'm gonna give an extra 5 gold. Here's hopefully this helps you all out.
Well, bless your heart, sweetie. Thank you. This will go a long way. Water's expensive to get in here, and this will help us a lot.
Absolutely. I hope your rain comes soon for y'all.
Well, here's your rooms. I'll be downstairs for most of the evening. There are some places to grab a bite to eat. I will say we do ration our water here, so if the faucet shuts off on you, that's why. Just be mindful. If you do need extra, I got some downstairs. I'll bring it up to you. Just throw it on a boil real quick, and you should be able to use it once it cools. But I hope you enjoy your stay. I'll be downstairs if you need me, and if you see my husband, you can't miss him. He's short like me, but he's unique. Just don't bring up any of this water stuff. He tends to have wild theories that, aren't too good for a man like him to have. So just do me that favor. That's all. All right. Well, enjoy. I'll be downstairs. Thank you all for staying.
All right,
Walk
thank
away.
you.
Thank you.
Jara was intentionally silent.
Yeah, same.
He absolutely plans to talk to him about it. I was like, I'm not going to make a promise in light of this woman. I'm just going to say nothing.
Right.
I also neglected to mention this is the bar. It's called Juniper's. Next door. If you'd like to go to the bar.
I want to find Jebediah and then take him to the bar.
Oh my
Well,
god.
you gather from the type of man Jebediah is, he's probably already at the bar.
Perfect. Then I will look there first.
All right. Well, before you all go your separate ways, is there anything you want to do in the rooms? Anything specific you would like to set up, or you going to go out on the town? I should mention it's roughly 7 p.m. The sun is setting. One thing I want to make it clear. One thing that is strange. You have experienced rain.
Yeah.
In not so far distances from where you are located. It hasn't rained while you were traveling here yet. But the climate on the surrounding areas, this is a peculiar
I mean, didn't you
situation.
just say it was humid this morning? So
It was humid this morning.
It was humid.
Can't
Correct.
be humid without rain.
Is this body of water that she was talking about on the map?
Yeah, I can bring it up for you.
Roll it back.
It's not. I don't think I made it visible, but it's on my map, not your map. Let me see. Hold on. Okay, no, I did not. So there is. I'll draw it. Just kind of pointing it out. So you guys are obviously here.
Mhm.
So the city itself, or the village itself, is located literally right here in this sort of corner. That's like where it is. So technically that thing should be there. And the river flows like this. It's not really a river. By the time it gets here, it's like a creek, kind of. But that's the lake. And, I mean, you haven't seen it, but it's pretty large. And if you'd like to follow the creek up, you can absolutely go to the lake to see it for yourself. Probably take you about an hour, 2 hours, maybe.
Let me
may
talk
just
to
do that.
Jebediah first. And I
Yeah.
might go do that.
Okay, sure. Switch back to leaf side. Okay. All right, so you're going over to Juniper's. What's everybody else doing? Y'all going with?
Yeah.
Felix will
They're going to
meet
steal
back.
another barrel of ale.
See how many he can get. Felix will meet back up with the party, but he's gonna go to the river to actually inspect firsthand the situation.
Sure.
He's not gonna like walk to the lake or anything. He's just gonna inspect like the area that's shown on the map here.
One thing I think we didn't cover, but I'm going to roll with it because this adds to maybe the atmosphere of this town. No one batted an eye at Maury.
I was thinking that. I
I
was like,
was
okay, we
gonna
don't
ask.
have to hide Mori here. Like Mori can just be out.
I mean, there was a look, a once over, but nobody said anything.
Nobody's gonna be turning us away because of Mori.
Correct.
They need our money.
Yeah, it's either they need your money, they don't care, or both.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna go out to the river, or the creek, and everyone else.
And
is
I'll tell
going to
them
Juniper's.
where
Sure.
I'm going. and stuff.
Iris is probably just gonna stay upstairs tinkering. It's a weird situation going on right here, but Iris isn't totally sure how much she wants to dig around here.
Okay. For once, Iris is restraining
Not getting in
herself.
trouble.
She's spending she's spending the evening tinkering with her gun, to be honest.
Iris, are you feeling all right? You not meddling in something seems like something's off. You okay?
Everything's fine. I'm not really sure what's going on with this town, and I was only expecting to be here for a day. So I was just going to spend some time working on some projects.
All right. Well, if you're feeling all right, it's fine.
If anything weird happens, please interrupt me.
Yeah, well, we'll let you know.
We might. We might. I mean, we'll see where the night takes us, but we might end up hiking up to that lake. I'm sure we could use your backup if we end up doing that.
Okay, yeah, let me know if you need me to head out, and I'll come out.
Okay.
Okay. Sounds good to me. This, by the way, I didn't put a name. I didn't tell you the name, but the creek is Dragonfly Creek. That's the creek that runs through the center of town here. And then the actual river is Sleeping Run Lake. So, Sleeping Run Lake. Dragonfly. Okay. There are no dragonflies, despite the name, and there is no creek. All right, so Felix is going to head out. Everyone else is going to Juniper's, barring... Are you going to keep Mori with you, Iris?
If Iris doesn't mind, I'll take Mori for extra
Yeah,
protection.
if you ask her to take Mori, she'll happily lend you Mori for the expedition.
That'd be
Okay.
great.
Mori is heading with Felix. Quite a pairing. All right, so we'll go to Juniper's first. First thing you notice, absolutely no music. No live band. There's maybe 7 people in there, including the barkeep. What you see is a very small, not even a dining area, an area to sit at benches, like picnic tables. There's cobwebs. The place is kind of a mess. It smells like piss and beer. And you can see there is an old halfling man with basically this strip of his head is completely bald. And then he has these like conic puffs of hair that come out the side that are like gray and curly. He has, his face is in his arms, so that's all you see. He wears very simple clothing, like brown slacks with very dirty tan shirt that probably was at one point white, but has been discolored with age, and filth. And you can see his head is in his arms, and his arm, or his right arm, is like grabbing a cask of ale, just holding it despite being passed out, it looks like. There's a barkeep in the back, a pretty rotund human male. He wears a simple apron, kind of pit-stained gray shirt underneath, greasy face and hair. And then dispersed around are just various halflings. This is very much a halfling society. There are mixes, though. You can see some humans and whatnot. They don't discriminate necessarily. But whoever's left is mainly halfling, and they seem to be very old. The average age in this room, without you guys in there, is probably like, in halfling years, like 80.
It's the old men's club.
Yeah, men and women, just everywhere, just old people. You're in the 55 and up, basically. That being said, you kind of walk through the door, it rings. Ding-ding-ding-ding-ding. Like there's a bell on it. You hear some people kind of spit out and, drink and eat and whatnot. But you head up to the bar, and the barkeep introduces himself as Lars. He says, "Good evening, y'all. Name's Lars. Welcome to Juniper's. What you looking to drink?"
Well, evening, Lars. My name is Jara. I'll just take a mug of ale if that's all right with you.
You want the blonde? You want something darker?
Mm-hmm. Blonde will be fine.
And what about the rest of you? I guess it's just you and Therathori.
Yeah, it's just me and Therathori.
And you?
The dark one.
All right. Have a seat anywhere, and the refills are half off.
Right, we're looking for Jebediah. Is he around?
He gives like a nod over at the guy 2 stools away from you, passed out on the bar table.
Let me get a light ale for him too to help wake him up.
All right. Just giving you a look, and he hands it to you. I'll keep the tab open for you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You got it.
So I'll go over to where Jebediah is sitting and kind of put the drink down in front of him and give him a little poke and
You hear him
say,
heavy breathing.
Excuse me.
Yes?
Are you Jebediah?
Who's asking?
I'm sure. I'm staying at your inn next door. Your wife told me about you.
He's gonna insight check you.
Sure.
Natural 1.
She said you'd be the man to talk to with regards to theories about why the creek dried up.
And we are interested.
We are.
Ah, wise. I thought I owed you money. Take a seat. Take a seat.
No, absolutely not. In fact, this beer right here is for you.
Ah, you know the way to my heart. Okay. What do you want to know? You have any theories? I have a few.
I would love to hear what you think is going. As a local yourself, I mean, we're just traveling through, but
Wait a minute. Paulie didn't put you up to this, did he?
I don't know who Paulie is, sir.
He's gonna inside check you again.
That's fine.
Natural 3. He's rolling with disadvantage because he's drunk as fuck.
I mean, I'm not lying anyway. So.
Yeah. Good. All right. Well, let's see. Grandma cat just attacked me. It's feeding time. He says he takes a big swig of the one he had his arm on. He finishes it. You hear it rattle on the table as he throws it down. Wipes his face. You can see now he has his left eye has a kind of a scar from the top left of his brow down beneath his eye, and it's kind of clouded, like a white pupil clouded over. He has a very, very like curvy, bushy mustache that kind of extends out from his face that meets his a small tuft of hair on his chin. He gives a smile. He's got like 5 teeth in his mouth collectively.
Nice.
Very big bulbous nose and wrinkly skin. It's kind of like a much more disheveled Doc from Back to the Future. Like a lot more disheveled. But that's the kind of look he's going for. He wipes his mouth. The creek. Yeah. And he pulls from his pocket. It looks like chicken scratch, but he's got papers and like, he pulls out a news article like column that at this point is so worn you can hardly read the lettering. Both of you make a perception check. He kind of places it on the table.
15.
Nice. I got 17.
All right. He slams this down on the table as though it is self-evident and this is the smoking gun that he thinks. He says, "You see, this started it all. Nobody here sees it. But I, with my one good eye, can see better than all them folks with 2. And he slides the paper towards you. Reading the headline, which is really the only thing that's legible at this point. This is from it's kind of like a national newspaper. It's the Turian Times, which I think some of you... did we lose Paul? Paul, you still there?
Hello.
Okay. I think your camera shut off, but you're here, right?
Oh no, I had to step away from the.
Perfect.
desk real
Okay.
quick.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the Turian Times, which I think you guys heard some stories from while you were in Tura, the capital city. But this is a national paper. And he slams on and the heading is Creek dries up for longest streak 3 years. That's the headline. And he says, for us to make a big name paper like that, I'll tell you what, somebody knows something. So I started digging. And he pulls out from his one of his many pockets a little vial. This thing looks like the top has been removed and plunged again like thousands of times. It's so worn. But inside is a sample of soil. And he says, I collected this once this was published. And look at it. And he hands it, or he shows it to you. He won't let it go by any chance. Firmly grips it. But he shows it to you. It is Now, like when wet soil dries over time, obviously it kind of cakes in clumps. This soil is almost completely gray, like almost like it's ash. And it's kind of sit at the bottom as though it's like this layer of soot almost. And he says, "Now you tell me, you ever seen any soil look like this?" So you gather that this sample is at least 3 years old, judging from the column, probably older.
With my farming background,
Yeah.
is there anything particular that I noticed about the soil?
This soil looks like it's definitely been tampered with. Make a nature check.
Do I have
There's
advantage?
gonna.
What'd you say, Tom?
There's wants to see if he can remember seeing anything like this.
Sure, go ahead and make history. You want to make history check then, Tom?
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
Can I possibly have advantage on this nature check?
Sure, since it's kind of your background.
Got a 14 here.
For history.
I got an 11.
Okay. With a 14 on the history check, you have seen this degradation in like natural plant life or living soil, whatever. The nutrients essentially have been completely absorbed. And what's left in here is basically the equivalent of dust. And this, with your 11, Jara, piecing this together, both of you kind of look at each other, and without saying anything, you've said a lot. You both have this recognition that this is blighted soil from an unnatural sickness that has somehow manifested in the water source and probably brought downstream and has affected the crops around this area.
Well, shit.
What could cause the blight? There's a lot of things.
Can I do an Arcana check?
He'll continue to talk, and you can check in a second.
Sure.
He quickly puts it in his pocket, because this is like his prized possession. And he says, "I didn't stop there. Oh, no. Oh, Jebediah. He keeps digging. He didn't want me to, but I kept digging."
So I'm sorry. Who didn't want you to? If I could ask.
Polly,
Who is Polly?
the bishop.
All right. Is that Pauly or IE?
It's, yeah.
You broke him.
He had a witch. I gave you two options.
Both.
The third one.
There was only two.
I don't know. Anyway.
All right. So Polly, I'm gonna give it a Y. 'Cause that's what I want to.
You can tell, he's not very good at spelling, despite being able to read this column at one point.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend. So Polly the bishop, he doesn't want you looking into it.
No. He that's why when you came up, I thought you were working for him, and forgive my skepticism. I think I'm onto something here. I've been on this for a while, and I don't want anybody tarnishing it.
No, absolutely not. I believe you. So what else have you found? You said you kept digging, right?
Oh, I kept digging. So, every night, I'd come down to that creek, and I'd collect more and more samples. And then, I started growing stuff in them, trying to figure out if I was going crazy or if this soil was somehow messed up. And he brings out another small vial, and in there, he says, "I don't have much left from when I started doing this a couple years back, but this is my latest. I took this sample last week and I put something in it." And you can tell as he hands it over, this time he will let it go to you, like he'll give it to you. You can do an Arcana check.
Nice. Oh, great. Perfect. 23.
Okay, what you see in there is this decayed soil. It's not quite as great as the original sample, but it's definitely not healthy soil. But what's grown in there, you can kind of see, and it's maybe a vial about 7 inches long, not very wide, is a single, like, miniature version of a lilac flower that has thorns. It has a deep purple flower color, and like in the middle there's concentric rings of like red and like oranges and like these very violent colors. That's violent with an N, not violet. And the stem itself is like gnarled and twisted, and it looks like a more hostile form of what you would expect a lilac to look like. And it's a smaller sample, and he says, I could get full crops to grow in a vial about this big. They don't grow too much, but when they do, they're twisted. Something is in this soil. And I ate some, and I feel fine. I felt fine. Nothing happened to me.
Crazy, man.
But one day, it was raining. One of the few days it's rained in a while. This was maybe a year or two ago. And I followed it upstream. Maybe I had a little bit to drink. I don't usually have that much to drink. I followed upstream. Followed it all the way up to Sleepy Run. And, well, I lost my eye. And he'll show you the eye that's been, that you can see in full effect now.
Well, are you saying like you had a fake eye that you lost, or like something happened to you that damaged that eye, and then now you cannot see out of it?
No, this is oh, I just realized I sent this to you, Dan, and not the group chat. Sorry. No, I was attacked by this weird plant thing. I don't even know what to call it. It looked like a humanoid, I guess, but these vine-like tendrils with thorns, and it shot thorns at me and came out of nowhere, and I don't know. I haven't returned since. Took my good eye, though. I'm not making this up.
Well, I think honestly I believe you.
Have another beer.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go barkeep.
Yeah, I can help you.
How much is it for one of the beers?
Well, your tab right now coming out to about 2 silver. A
All
beer?
right. Here is 2 silver a beer. It's like 5 beers to a gold.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Here is 5 gold. I'm just gonna buy rounds for everyone tonight,
All right.
and
Appreciate
then I'm gonna go over to Therathari. Big Therathari, could you come with me for a second?
Right?
And then as we kind of like walk to, I guess, walk to a more secluded part towards the front door, I go to them and I say, I mean, we gotta like check this out, right? Like, this is blighted soil. Certainly isn't something natural going on here.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we should find Felix, or maybe we should go talk to Paulie the bishop, to get his side of things, and then maybe collect Felix, and then get Iris and head up towards the actual lake.
Yeah, I think if we did see Polly, that would at least give us some idea of whether Jeb is being truthful.
Right. Well, Paulie's probably going to deny it, but I just kind of want to see what type of I mean, based off of just what Jebediah said, he seems like.
Well, we do have methods, I would say.
Right. Yeah. So I think we should definitely talk to him. I guess. Do we want to get Felix for that, or do you think we should just do it ourselves right now?
Well, is Felix busy?
I think he was heading towards the creek, but he might end up coming to the same conclusion that we just did, speaking with Jebediah.
All right, let's find him.
All right, so we're gonna head out and find Felix where he went towards the creek bit.
Okay. Felix, while this has been going on, you have been inspecting some of the soil. So you making your way over to the creek. You notice that the soil at the very bottom, there are patches of this dark brown, black, graying parts, especially parts without much moisture. You notice in other areas, where water has accumulated, very slightly just puddles, that the water itself is extremely murky and clouded. You don't know if it's just because it's shallow, particularly, or if there's something weird going on. What do you do with Maury?
Well, I was gonna do exactly what Jeb did years ago, I guess, which was collect some soil samples. So if all I would gather is exactly what he gathered, then we can just kind of rush through that. We don't have to like spend a whole lot of time on that.
Well, do you want to? I'll give you a choice. Do you want to do Arcana? Do you want to do like an alchemical check here and do some like chemical?
Yeah, I was gonna do some like more, I guess, some more rigorous tests than
Sure,
he did.
I
like,
think
with
it's
my
totally
kit.
worth that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So make an alchemical check that you usually do.
Okay. That is a 24.
Give me 1 second. May I have more water? Okay, a 24 is very good. With the 24, collecting the soil, you're gonna do, I imagine, kind of two tests. What is well, let me give you a choice here. You can run two tests. I'll list out some options for you on what you can do, and you can decide what two you'd like to do. You can kind of test like what a living thing would how it would behave in this soil. Either that be a plant or a living creature. You have a frog.
Oh shit, I do have a frog.
You can figure out what this does to other sort of manufactured, like not chemicals, but magical solutions, if that would have any effect in the soil or on the soil. And the last thing is you can kind of figure out what happens when you add moisture, like truly add more moisture. So those are your four options. Pick two, any two.
Sorry, can you repeat the first one?
The first two are you put a plant in it to see like what plant life is like, or you put like your frog or any other living creature in soil.
Okay. I will do the frog and then the can it be used as a component in potions?
Sure. Okay. So with a 24, you notice the frog that is kind of already struggling because it's away from its natural habitat.
Yeah.
Seems to writhe, not from pain, but from discomfort being placed in this soil. You see that the moisture is immediately kind of ripped from its already like kind of drying exterior, and it's clinging to it pretty hard. So that's the first thing on the frog. You can kind of wash it off and like you're okay. Like the frog isn't dead. You're skilled enough to not harm the frog.
I gotta take care of that frog, damn.
The second test, from what you gather here, this is absolutely usable as a potion. Like if you harness the power of blight, like in the form of a potion, this absolutely could be used. This would probably be a very good toxin for a poison, likely, or alternatively like a pesticide.
Well, then I will collect some more samples for later use.
Okay, roll me a d8.
8 is this guy. A 2.
All right, you can collect 2 samples along with the one you already have, so 3 in total, of blighted soil. And while you're sort of collecting the final sample, you hear a shout of your friends coming over to you. Well, shout.
Yes?
Felix.
Yeah.
Hey, where are you?
I am down in the. I would have been over here using the dock as like a table, I guess.
All right, we head over to the dock. Hey, so I don't know what you found out with the soil here, but Therathori and I, when we spoke to Jebediah, we kind of learned that this soil's been blighted by something, which I mean definitely isn't natural.
Yeah, I came to the same conclusion through direct analysis. I think the next step is to go to the source.
Yeah, so well, we apparently there's a bishop in the town called Paulie, and he didn't really like people look. Well, he didn't like Jebediah. At least Jebediah said he didn't like people looking into the soil and the issues with it. So Therathori and I kind of wanted to suss him out. I don't know if you want to come with, or if you want to go and get Iris, and then we all head up towards the lake. He also mentioned that there was some kind of like plant thorn creature that attacked him. So we should definitely be on the lookout and be wary for like a fight or something.
Okay. How about this? How about I collect Iris while you go start a conversation with Polly, and then just in case he thinks you're alone and tries something, Iris and I can come in a little bit later as like a, you know, just to check that everything's okay. Like if he tries to
that
mess
sounds
with you.
good. He's the bishop, so I guess we'll head down to the church and see if he's in there.
All right. I will head to the inn.
All right, this is a good time
right.
to take a break. So we'll take our 5-minute break, around 8:16, 8:17. See you guys in 5.
Yep.
Who knows? Maybe it's a main quest.
This
Who
is
knows?
that. It's Professor Einhart.
Yeah, this vine monster is the BBEG the whole time.
Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys are going over to the bishop's church. So
Yeah.
the deity in this part, is none other than Helm. One of the strongest, most worshipped. The current king, or the orator rather, of the what's it called? Who sits on the council, the synod. The orator is of the faith of Helm, and that's usually always indicative of the most powerful religion deity in the realm. Whoever is the orator. And if you recall, he's been the orator twice in a row now.
That's right. Oh yeah.
Interesting. Orator Petfer.
I
Okay.
did remember his name. Yes.
This is way back in the day. That's like session, single digits session.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Heading over to the bishop, who you know as Bishop Pauly. There is not a single soul in that church but him. He kind of is sitting reading. There are like maybe 3 rows of pews. Maybe like half a dozen in there in total. Super small church. Very, very humble. And made of stone, not marble. The roof is nice. It's not thatch. But it's certainly no bastion of wealth like it normally is. The bishop is dressed in the typical like religious garb here. He's got on blue robes, in this case blue for helm with silver inlays. He has I don't know what to call it, but like it clamps his robe shut. It's like this fancy chain that dangles with clamps on either side. They're both the fists of Helm with the eye in the middle. He seems to be an older human male. Not anything remarkable, just kind of your run-of-the-mill priest-looking guy. Nice enough face. Pretty good disposition. He immediately puts the book down as he hears your footsteps enter, and it's just Therathari and Jara, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
The book kind of shuts, you hear the echo of it shutting. He stands up from the front pew facing the altar. He turns to you guys, puts the book down. Good evening. What can I do for you?
Good evening, sir. Are you Bishop Pauly by chance?
Bishop Paul, but yes, I am.
Paul, pardon. Sorry, we heard Pauly from the local. Uh, yeah, we're just traveling through, and we were just wondering if you could maybe give us a little history on the town. It seems like you guys have fallen on some hard times, and would love, or would like to kind of hear your side of things, history, what happened.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what kind of history you're looking for, like the founding.
Well, just kind of recent years, like what it seems like you guys are kind of going through a tough period, and
Yeah,
hearing hearing what might have happened. If there's anything we could do to help.
I'm not sure there's much to do to help. I wouldn't say that we're in a place where it's dire. We have seen better days. Obviously, I think you're alluding to the dried up creek out front.
Right, yeah, it's just the whole aridness of everything.
Yeah, we've been struggling recently to get water supply, but I have some people helping. We import water every month, and then we ration it out. The folks are, I wouldn't say, swimming in it, literally, but there's enough for everybody to keep people happy and the animals fed and the crops watered. But yeah, I mean, we seem to be in a drought period. I've sent for some scientists that have come over maybe 8-9 months back just to take a look. And they said, just seems to be we're in this weird area where the weather fronts, and the climate is peculiar, and we seem to be on a different kind of weather cycle, as odd as that may sound. So we're in a dry period, and they anticipate it ending soon, but
Can I insight him?
sure.
It must
Um,
be expensive to import water, huh?
I'm gonna
Quite expensive. Quite.
use one of my sorcery points to what's it called? To use magical guidance because I rolled a nat 1, so I want to re-roll that.
Sure.
Oh, much better. That is I said insight an 18.
It's quite expensive to import, but fine folks like you that stop by and spend some coin at our inn, our bar, and market, they help to literally give these people, water and keep things running. So we thank you very much for that, for stopping by. If you'd like to make any further donations, feel free, but it's totally not required. Just by being here and patronizing everybody, you've done more than enough. Thank you. You can tell he's lying. There are lots of lies in his words. It's tough to point out where they start and end. There's so many.
Who do you all import water from? How'd you find them? That sounds like a peculiar business to be a part of.
Well, I put out some word to the Synod, and they have their connections. I don't know who it is, but we import from neighboring towns. They kind of accumulate water supply depending on who has the most or excess, and then they bring them over here in big tanks. You'll see them occasionally in the fields dispersed out, but I think every month we get 3 or 4. Pretty steady supply. People around here are understanding, so.
Yeah, what do you think about the silly rumors that like the soil is like cursed by God or something?
Well, you correctly identified them. The rumors. Right? So, definitely not the case. I mean, come on. That's just insane. But I understand with troubling times, people grasp onto things that may not make the most logical sense. I'm understanding. But certainly none of that is rooted in anything real. And I can assure you, the Synod knows of the situation, and we're doing everything we can to help these people through. I'm not going to say it's been easy or it will be easy, but we'll get through it. And certainly no cursed ground or anything like that. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Did you grow up here? Is that how you became stationed as a bishop out here, or?
No, I did not. I did grow up in the capital city. I went to school, the Pence Academy. You know, I took up the cloth at a young age, and this place opened up, and I applied, and I was sent here by the Synod, and I've been here for, sheesh, maybe 16 years now.
Do I get a sense of after talking to Jebediah how long the drought's been going on for?
So he said,
I mean, definitely over 3 years from whenever that the article was written, but
yeah. So for it to have made national news, it had to have been pretty bad and for quite a bit of time. You probably close to half a decade, you gather.
okay. So
Just by
at least 5 years.
the relative nature of the state of the village and how many people have left and remain, it's been a while. Especially halflings. They like to cling to where they're from. For them to move, that's pretty bad.
And Bishop Paul, how are you dealing with this personally?
I mean, it's hard, obviously, but I look to the guidance of Helm from above, and he's blessed me with, you know, with what I have now, and we have people here, fine folk, real down to earth, hardy people left, and you know, I think we're on the up and up. I really do. I feel like something good is on the horizon. I feel like these folk will have their water back, and we'll become a bustling little village again, like I know we can be.
I hope this isn't like an offensive question. I know Helm is like he's the god. He's like a protection god, like the guardians. Have you guys tried maybe seeking out the help of like an agricultural god that might?
Of course, yes.
Help?
Great, totally fair question. You know, the peculiar thing about the gods is you can call on them and call on them, but they don't always answer. And for whatever reason, the gods see it fit that we walk this path ourselves. It may be a test. Who knows? But I won't lose faith. I pray every day for rain. I pray every day that these folk get their water. And, you know, hasn't come yet, so we'll just keep on praying and doing what we can.
I have another weird question. When I was talking with, you know, like the people in the bar, you know how like if you're like dehydrated, like your skin gets tight and things like that, like did the people of the town look like they were suffering from just like, you know, any physical appearances from lack of water?
Yeah, definitely. I thought I tried to describe that on Jeb.
And that I thought I just want to make sure it wasn't just because he was a drunk.
Fair.
Does he look like that? Is he of similar complexion, or does he look totally normal?
He's a lot closer to normal than anyone else is. You can see he's probably in his mid-30s, mid to late 30s, but he looks maybe a little bit older than what his age truly is. But he looks in a lot better shape than anyone else does. You know, it's just that's how it works with the gods sometimes. So
yeah, well, you know, who can understand the wills of the gods? We just try to do our best.
That's it.
Well, Therathor, I don't know if you have any other questions, but
no, I don't.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for your time,
Of course,
Bishop, and I'm gonna put a gold in the donation box.
Very kind of you. Thank you.
I hope what you say is true, and this town is certainly on the cusp of some better times.
Your words are nice to hear, and your donation is even nicer. So thank you for coming on by. We need more folk like you around here.
Just trying to do my best to help.
Okay. Make a religion check. Jara. And Therathari. Jarathari.
Not so good here. 6.
Okay.
4.
All right. Making that donation, when you usually leave an artifact or something, a donation, you make a good will gesture to a god. They either respond in kind or you feel the connection at least. This was not a connection to Helm. You didn't really roll high enough to know who it connected to, but it's not a connection to Helm.
Hmm.
All right. As so once we get outside, I'm going to go to Therathari and say, well, I don't know if that guy's behind it. He's definitely lying. He's not telling us the whole truth. And
Yeah,
here's
that much is
another
clear.
here's another odd thing. I'm not a terribly religious man, but when I did my donation, I could have sworn, I don't know, whatever deity that responded, I don't think it was Helm. I don't know what to make of that. Like, it just, I don't know.
Curious.
It felt off, I guess is what
Hmm.
I'm.
Okay.
Where should we go from here?
Well, I think we got to meet up with Iris and Felix, and then I think we definitely got to head up the creek bed to the lake.
All right.
We would be at the church, right? Like outside, basically.
Yeah, as
We-
you
we
guys
were, like-
walk out, yeah, you'll definitely see Iris and Felix and Maury.
So there are some weird things happening.
Yeah, so catch you up, Iris. The soil in this town has been blighted by something.
We're talking as we're walking away, right?
Yeah, I imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sick. Sorry.
Yeah, oh yeah. We're outside the church at this point. Yeah. The soil in this town has been blighted by something. The bishop of this town, Paul, I think he definitely knows more than what he's letting on. I don't know if he's the root behind it. He did look like he was suffering with the town, but maybe just using his position to suffer a little bit less than everyone else. So I don't think he's the root of it all, because I feel like if he was, then he'd be, perfectly fine. But he definitely is suffering a little bit. But he knows something that he's not telling us. And then another strange thing, that church is supposed to be towards, devoted towards Helm. But when I donated to the church, it didn't feel like, a Helm connection that I was making when I did that donation. I don't know how to explain it. Just it didn't feel
Can-
like.
Sense divine presence when you give money to a church.
Well, usually it's like when you do something good, especially in favor of a deity. I don't know. Like, I don't know how it is for you, being not entirely an organic person, but you kind of get like this gut feeling that you did something good, and that something good might help you back. But in this situation, it didn't feel like whatever responded came from from that deity.
Huh.
I'm
I
not
don't know how
I'm
much
not well
sense that makes
versed.
to me, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I'm not well versed in gods and religion. That's more Therathari's territory. But I don't know. I mean, I've definitely donated at churches before, and like, let's say there was a. Let me give you an example. Like, there was a church, in one of my travels, there was a church that was dedicated to one of the gods of agriculture. I stopped by and gave a few silver offerings to the people, and then later on I stumbled across a perfectly ripe bush of blueberries that was just perfect for picking, that was like pristine, hadn't been touched by wildlife or people. It's kind of like, that makes sense, right? I did something good to this god of agriculture. They provided me some of nature's bounty back. But in this situation, it didn't feel like what I was going to get back was appropriate from Helm. It's just like a gut thing.
So you can make monetary offerings to the deities, and they will directly influence what happens to you.
It doesn't have to be monetary. It could be, symbolic. You could do something good for the church.
Think of it like a bribe. You know what a bribe is, Iris?
I'm aware.
It's like that, but with the
yeah,
gods.
only if they like you, or if they like what you did.
So you can legally bribe the gods.
If they accept it, I mean, you can try. You can legally try to bribe the gods, sure. But if they don't accept it, then there's nothing you can really do. Sometimes they help out, sometimes they don't. It's kind of what they're feeling.
Yeah.
Okay.
The gods are fickle.
That's what I'm getting.
But if
But
I would
sometimes,
say if Jara didn't feel this connection, I'd say that's significant. You usually do.
but yeah, but sometimes they're fickle, and sometimes they give you some nice red blueberries.
It wasn't that he didn't feel the connection; it's that it was a different connection.
Yeah,
Right. Oh, right.
I felt there's definitely some divine power in that place. Like you can just feel that when you walk in,
Hmm.
But it didn't seem like it was Helm, like it was supposed to.
Okay.
He
So,
was a strange. I don't know what to make of Paul the Bishop.
is it? Can I go try?
Try what? To talk to him?
I want to feel what that weird divination feeling is.
If you want to go make a donation, sure.
Okay. I'll be right back then.
I'd
Iris
like
is
to
going
make a
I'm gonna go
donation.
with Iris. I'm gonna chaperone this. I,
Iris
Oh, yeah,
puts like
yeah, that's
300
right.
gold.
Hey, Maury, why don't you stay outside, Maury? Iris and Felix, you guys can go in.
Iris is gonna keep putting gold in the box until she feels something.
oh my god.
You feel
Make
yourself
me
getting
feel-
lighter. You feel your pockets getting lighter. You both walk in. You see he's picked up his book and puts it down again as he was about to sit. Ah, busy night
Hey.
tonight. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. What can I help you
Hi.
guys with?
My name's Iris. I'm traveling through town, and I want to know more about the gods.
Ah, well, Iris, who's your friend?
Oh, this
Uh,
is Felix.
That's right.
Well, Iris, Felix, it's nice to meet you. My name is Paul. You can call me Bishop, call me Bishop Paul, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Of
You
course.
want to know more about the gods? You have a particular one you're interested in, Iris?
I'm not from the area, and I was not really. I don't have a very strong background in religion, so I am.
That's okay. We all start
About
somewhere.
any of them.
Sure. Well, I'll talk about the one that I believe in. He's obviously a deity of order, just as all deities that are worshipped in Turia are. I believe in Helm. He's known as the Protector or the Watcher. If you've seen any symbol like this, and he'll point to his kind of clamps holding his robe together, and he'll point to the wall, obviously, where there's like a painting. This like gauntlet with an eye. It's supposed to symbolize a protective watch, which is what Helm is all about. But he's often the patron of paladins or those who take up a holy order to protect those in need, those who aren't able to protect themselves. So that's really what Helm is about. Of course, we have a holiday for him. It's the Ceremony of Honor, which is coming up in a few months. And here you make offerings, things like that to Helm. It's a day of just being thankful for his protection, his guidance, and being thankful for those who protect you. If that sounds at all interesting, I mean, we'd love to have. I'd love to show you some teachings. We can read some verses together.
I think we're actually kind of running short on time. We just wanted to pop in.
Sure. Yeah, we'll come back anytime. Door's always open.
I did have a question.
Of course.
So, from what I've been understanding, when you do good things for the gods, good things happen. Is the inverse true? If you make the gods angry, do bad things happen?
Very, very good question. So, I'd like to just correct the record a little bit. Doing good things just for the gods doesn't guarantee you that they'll do good things in kind to you. A lot of times, doing good things for the sake of doing good things wins the most favor. It's not necessarily a transaction, although it can feel like that sometimes. And thus, the inverse isn't necessarily true. So if you do something sacrilegious towards them or something against their faith that they don't align with, it's not always true that something bad will happen to you. But it could be more likely, of course. It's sort of something that you may risk, but if you follow the teachings of Helm or any of the deities of order, for that matter, their path generally is a path that you should try and walk down. It leads you to a more fulfilled whole life.
And
Yep.
Iris, there are also if you don't do good things, if you do bad things, there are also these deities of chaos. And so while the deities of order may look down on you and shun you and do bad things to you, perhaps the deities of chaos would take you in.
First thing the deity of chaos does is make you believe that there are no deities of order. If there's nothing good to live for, why not be bad? But it's good you ask these questions. An educated mind is a mind protected from evil.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your time. I've been told that it's customary to provide donations to holy temples. May I do so?
If you wish, totally up to you. Completely optional.
I'll go ahead and provide 4 gold to the church.
Okay, make a religion check.
I'll provide 3.
You make a religion check as well.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and throw on my flash of genius to this.
Okay.
So that is going to be a 22 total.
And I got a 16.
All right, not bad. So, making these offerings, you guys. The connection that you make is not with a deity of order at all. It is, in fact, a deity of chaos. One that has been marred in the history of the continent and feared by many. Vecna.
Oh, the classic.
Who, is the Lord of Flesh and Death and
The Lord of Undeath himself.
yeah, the Archlich. My world does take place in some of the setting of Critical Role, so Vecna has been defeated.
Okay. I was going to say, so Vecna, so they've done the thing, Arkan has the hand.
Yes.
Okay, word.
But Vecna still may have some sway, who knows? Lots to think about as you leave the church.
Right, we'll depart and we'll meet back up with the party. And once we've gotten a decent distance away, well, I learned a number of things in the church.
Would we both know immediately that it was Vecna? Like,
Yeah, you rolled above a 13, so you know.
right. Yeah, that was Vecna.
Well, that certainly isn't good. I think that cements it. We definitely got to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, I definitely want to deal with that bishop before we go.
Is there a reason why a prominent deity of chaos would care about a place like this?
From my understanding, and I guess from the definition of the word chaos, first off, deities of chaos just kind of like to tear down order wherever it's possible, right? So the fact that this is probably a thriving town, that had a weakness that they could exploit and give them a foothold into the world, that was good enough for them.
Yeah, this seems like a good place to take root. To like, no pun intended.
And then they just want to try to spread their corruption as much as they can. I don't think there's anything special about this town except for the fact that something made it vulnerable, and that's why it was chosen, because they could exploit that.
Well, that seems like a rather petty reason to choose a small village.
Yeah, the deities of chaos are petty.
Like the gods are fickle. Right?
That's the title of this episode.
Do we want to confront him now that we know it's Vecna? Like, how do we
I mean,
I-
yeah. What's the order? Do we
What
go
does the name
investigate,
Vecna mean to you?
then deal with him, or deal with him and then go?
Um,
I
I
mean,
don't think fighting an individual with ties to Vecna in a church of Vecna's energy sounds like a smart idea.
Agreed.
that's
Yeah.
fair. He probably could be pretty strong there. It might be best to see if there's that creature at the lake, and maybe that'll lure him out and make it a little bit easier.
Also, if we can get him to the bar, I do have some potions and poisons that I've been itching to use.
All right. Well, I did just buy the whole bar out for the night with 5 gold. So
Well, we'll see. So it sounds like go investigate, see what's up, and then come back and deal with him however we see fit.
I think that makes sense.
All right.
Yeah, we already tried to take down an apostle of a deity chaos in their temple of power, and that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
That was
So-
not a pleasant experience.
Yeah.
I'm not really
Very
itching
true.
to do that again.
You got a fun book out of it. Good read. Toilet read.
It's kind of an annoying book. We have to deal with it.
That's right.
Wait, we got 2 different books.
Well, I was talking about the one from Oldwood.
I was talking about the scroll from Oldwood.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah,
I
that's
guess
right.
it's not quite a book.
It's less of a. It's a scroll. You're right.
We also
What-
got a book though, right? Didn't we
what
get
if
like
we-
the...
Didn't we get like a book of Bahamut
Yeah.
in there
That's
too?
what I was...
Didn't
yeah.
it used to be a Temple of Bahamut?
Oh yes, you got
Yeah.
the book there too.
yeah,
Yeah,
we did also get that.
that one's actually legit. Like,
Let's
Yeah.
just go, collect more powerful relics. Except this time, let's maybe not put it.
in an echo chamber.
Hey, well, at least we're only 2 days from Zima this time. What if we come back and we're like,
Dude,
"Hey,
if you
Zima,
come back to Zima, she's gonna kill herself, dude.
we got another one, Zima. We need your help."
Rev up those fryers.
You know how long it takes to clean that clean room?
Well,
Okay.
she would have had 4 days to do it. The
Okay.
two there, 2 back.
So what's your plan? Just so I'm in the loop now.
We are going up to the lake.
Yes.
Going
Also, what
down.
time is it, Jared?
Oh, it's
Probably
like
like-
9 at night.
Yeah.
Okay.
it's like-
All right. That's fine.
All right. As you're passing up, are you? So let me ask you: are you walking on the sides of the creek, or are you walking in the middle?
In the
Uh,
ditch.
Felix,
Felix would suggest that we walk on the sides, given
yeah,
that the...
I was about to say, where does it seem like it's the most bloody? Is it the creek?
Yeah.
'Cause you probably don't want to walk there.
Okay. As you guys walk up, you notice one of the water containers, like here. And you notice it is on a cart, and the cart is labeled. Hold on. Wiltcrest Mercantile Company. The Wiltcrest Mercantile Company, which is not it's not an uncommon name at all. It's a very popular, very large mercantile, like trading company, shipping, just trading goods. Typically in Ostanza, but it seems they have crossed the
Bye, Dan. See you later.
proverbial what's it called, borders here, and are in Turia, seemingly thriving. All right, you head up the creek.
This is gonna ask after they've passed by the water a bit. So, do these people just buy water if they can't get it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
most of
Yeah.
us need water to survive.
They say they import their water. So
Oh.
at first I thought that the bishop was like the cause and in on it and was like, taking profits from the water, but he seems to be like suffering from minor dehydration as well. So that's why I'm not sure how fully involved he is. He might just be an unknowing pawn, to be honest.
In a temple of Vecna's energy.
Well, he might be like deceived by Vecna. These deities of chaos are also normally not the most straightforward.
I don't feel bad for him though.
I mean,
he's-
I'm not saying we should take mercy on him, and I'm just saying, I'm not sure if like we take care of Paul, like that's gonna solve this
Oh,
situation.
right. Yeah, no, I don't think he's the top of this whatever's going on.
So how much do they pay for water here?
Probably too much. I did not ask specific.
All right.
Do you think they're blighting the water to sell the water? Like, do you think they're blighting this creek to sell water at exorbitant prices to a village who can't afford it?
I don't know if they're blighting the water. They're definitely the land, though.
You
Yeah.
mean the company?
Something like that.
I don't know. The Wilcrest Mercantile Company. I recognize that name.
Yeah, I've
They're,
seen them around.
Yeah, they were one of the major suppliers that supplied my family's business. We sold farming supplies to our town.
Oh,
In
okay.
fact, actually, it was their son that he took over, or he was in the process of taking over for his father. I'm not sure if he actually did or not, but it was Octavius, their oldest son. He's who gave me the letter of recommendation to go to the academy.
Okay.
So I'm familiar with them. I mean, I don't think they. I can't say that I know, but I don't know.
Something to keep in mind.
All right. As you head further up the stream or the creek, you notice the life vegetation around it as you are progressing towards the source, you presume, is becoming more and more gnarled and like decrepit and decaying rapidly. Like the trees are kind of petrified at this point, hollowed. The branches that remain are withered and splintering. The bushes are not shrubs or anything like that. They're more just like these collections of twigs that are loosely held together in this sand-like dirt. There is not a single bird noise, cricket, nothing in these woods that you're walking through. It's dead silent. And it's eerily silent as you're kind of stomping on crackling tree branches and, fallen shrubbery. Any of you want to do anything while you're walking this path? Do any checks? Take any samples? Investigate anything? You're about halfway to your destination, you gather.
Yeah.
I guess just stealth as much as possible for me.
I'm
Okay.
okay with stealth.
So why don't we all roll stealth checks out the gate here, and then we can do any other off-the-cuff tasks we'd like.
24.
Do you want a
Yeah,
stealth
eight.
from Mori?
Yes, please.
Alright, word.
16.
Alright, so Iris has a 7.
Okay.
And
Dara, what'd you get?
I got an 8.
so Iris is a 7 and Mori is a 6.
So this is overall failing here.
Not a stealthy.
My
Sounds
24 is not doing enough work.
No.
You
Sorry.
got a big clunky bone automaton and another automaton of pure metal.
Yeah. So 24, 16, 7, 6, 8. So not a very stealthy group, unfortunately. It's hard to be stealthy in these woods, to be fair, because everything's broken and on the floor and cracking under your feet. But you're not doing yourselves any favors, that's for sure. Anyone want to do any other checks? Well, they're walking along here. Any theories you'd like to verify or try and verify? Anything before we get to the next checkpoint?
I guess. See, does it look like it's intensifying? Like,
Yes.
are we getting closer to a source?
Definitely. It's
Okay,
progressive
yeah. Then-
as you
yeah.
travel up.
No, I'm good to keep going.
Okay. About 3/4 of the way there, a slight fog hugs the ground. It's about knee high for most of you, and it just gently kind of floats above, loosely in some places, but as you travel further up the creek, it's getting more and more thick and disruptive of your sight. A little bit higher on your body. Now it's up to your lower quads, right under where your hip bone is. And eventually it stops rising, but it's kind of reached its peak thickness. And looking around, I want 2 of you to be nominated to make perception checks. Feel free to roll
Arthur
those.
nominates himself and rolls.
Okay.
Oh wow, and that one.
Oof.
Okay.
Felix nominates anyone else. Probably Jara.
Yeah, Iris is not good at this.
All right, I guess I can go. Perception,
Yes.
13.
So put on your blinders, everybody. Hit B for me.
Oh dear.
Nice.
All right, guys, we have 30 minutes to kill this thing so I can get my roll on the loot table.
Let's do it.
Tom, are you blinded?
Hold on,
Sure.
hold on. There it goes.
There we go. Thank you. I will let you know when you can look. Okay. So, not yet. Almost there. Okay. Go ahead and lift your blinders.
Yeah, that's one shiny tree.
Yeah.
There's some grim shit we got ourselves into.
So,
Oh,
what
know
you
about that
see
fog.
here is a. It's not green in reality, but in order to make it visible and like not disruptive and like be able to see through it, I made it green. Because the white would basically whitewash everything, be like not visible. What you do see, and I should stop this. There we go. There is no rain. Is this foggy sheet, a blanket over what would otherwise be. So I guess I'd draw the outskirts of the lake. Pretty encompassing here. Just drawing it. Just drawing it. Wait, where did that go? There we go. All right. Roughly. Wait, am I like? Oh, I guess it thinks I'm drawing on the fog. That's pretty funny. Oh well. There you go. That's roughly the shape. It encompasses most of the ground here. You get the idea. Yeah, so you see there is this thick layer of fog that's covering about 7 or so, 8 inches off of the ground, maybe more in some cases. And it just gently floats in various elevations. You also see these twisted and rotten trees. There are some trees with leaves, but they are either ghostly white or gray in color, very old and decayed. And you see the outer lip, and once you get a little bit closer, of the actual lake itself. Let me pull your guys here so that we see what's always on the floor. Okay. I had Jara. Did he fall through? Oh no, he's here.
Cool.
Good enough. All right, so you guys would be approaching here. I'll ask you to roll one more stealth check.
Oh boy.
Got a 10 over here.
26.
Nice.
Please.
Okay, so Maury gets a 19.
Okay.
Go.
And Iris has a 5.
Okay, Jara.
Nat 1.
For a total of.
3.
All right, so you all, not the quietest for some of you, but pretty high highs,
Pretty low lows.
very low lows. A balanced party, we'll say. But yeah, so you see the lip here of the lake. It dips down quite a bit, and there is a very slight sheet of water. You can hear in some cases the pop of bubbles kind of emanating from the water. It's like gurgling. And the air around you has a strong smell of decay. Like sulfur, like swamp, mulch. It's pretty putrid. It's not like noxious, like it's gonna like make you pass out necessarily, but it is not a nice scent. There we go. Can't seem to draws the fog. What would you guys like to do?
So where in relation to like the lake are we? Are we just like getting close to the lake?
No, this is the outskirts of the lake right here.
Okay, the outskirts of the lake.
The red line is the border.
So the
Oh,
lake
okay.
is in the red line, is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
yeah, correct.
So there are
Oh.
trees growing where the lake was.
They were probably in the lake. Now they're, some trees grow.
Now it's like a
Outskirts.
swamp.
Yeah, now it's essentially a
Right.
swamp.
Yeah. Like it's been long enough. Right.
All
Okay.
Well, maybe whatever's causing this corruption is in the lake. So we want to like carefully make our way.
Yeah, I would emphasize the careful.
Yeah. Felix will. Wait. How long does this last? Hold on. No, for 10 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Felix will drink an elixir of flight and get like an aerial view of the lake, if
Okay.
possible.
Sure.
And I'll use my thing to see through the fog.
Can I cast mage armor on myself while we're
How long does
before we
Mage
do
Armor
it?
last?
8 hours?
Yeah, sure. Here. Felix, roll me a perception check.
God damn it. 3.
Yeah. You are having trouble seeing anything meaningful from that far up, and with all the fog that's around you, you're kind of struggling to see.
All right. Well, or I'll come back down before I say it. I don't want to shout, but I'll just tell them I didn't get a good look at anything.
Okay. Anyone
Alright.
wanted to do anything else?
Well, maybe we just kind of stealthily and slowly make our way in.
Where exactly are we headed?
Probably towards the center, I would guess.
Yeah, it sounds like a good bet. Jared, would we be able to make out this like big stone that I see in the back?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'll say yes.
Yeah, that stone looks like a good place to start. It's kind of in an awkward spot.
What about that stone that's right over there?
What?
There's one right to our left.
Oh yeah, there is one right to our left. I didn't even realize that. Sure, let's go there first.
All right. If anything, it gives us some good cover.
Yeah. And I'll just be hovering a bit above the party.
Okay, sure.
Right. Before we go in proper, I'm going to cast See Invisibility on myself,
Oh shit!
just in case something is lurking.
Okay.
Invisible stalkers sneaking up on you.
So it'll
Nice.
last for an
Read
hour.
that today.
Uh,
Sure.
And I'll be able to see invisible creatures and objects as if they were invisible, and I can see into the ethereal plane. Don't know if that's going to help us right now. But I can see things that are invisible for an hour. Don't know if
Got
that'll
it.
help, but let's see if it does.
Okay. So you guys are going into the lake proper now, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then, so as soon as you get in and head towards the bottom where there is this sort of gurgling water, doesn't do any damage, but you do move slow, thick water. So you are at half speed. You are in the
Okay.
water. So keep that in mind. And you can kind of move where you'd like to. Where would you like to carve out a path?
Well, while the rest of these suckers wade through the water, I will float over to the rock.
We're going
Oh, I
slow
am
and
now
steady,
in the rock.
Yeah, I think the rock is...
slow and steady through the muck.
Okay.
Shit, I'm in the air too.
Well, you're on a tree. All right.
Uh,
So, I need you all who's in the water.
Oh, here we go.
Every single one of you needs to roll me a D100. For Felix.
Oh shit.
You said every single one of you.
Not Felix.
That doesn't include me.
Do you want one for Maury as well?
Yes, Maury's in the water.
Okay.
Oh, you're all about to get mutated.
We're about to get snapped up from something underneath us.
I rolled a 2.
Ooh, okay.
Failed.
Okay. Iris gets a 92.
Okay.
Maury gets a 72.
Okay, and then what'd you get, Tom?
69.
Let's
Nice.
go. That's the crit at every
Mine's
table.
The automatic pass, yeah.
Okay. Jara, you take about 10 steps
Perfect.
Uh-oh.
and are pulled underwater.
Oh,
Oh!
all right.
I'll have you roll off screen here in a sec.
So I'm like fucking back here.
No, you're about here.
10 steps?
Yeah, it's about. I meant like 5 squares basically.
Oh, okay.
So you're kind of like near the tree.
So I got like 25 feet in.
Make perception checks, everyone.
Uh-oh.
Felix, you're included in that.
60.
5.
Shocked. Iris got a natural 20 for a 22 total.
Okay. All right. You guys hear a... Sounds like water. It's like when you get to the very end of pouring water into glass. It's kind of like those bubbling noises. And Therathari is snatched underwater.
Oh, that's not good.
Wait, but he was 69.
He's 69ing the monster. Underwater.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
Jara
Iris is gonna
and
try to get up
Therathari are not answering.
Iris is gonna try and get up this tree.
Okay. Yeah, sure. You can absolutely do that. Same with Maury. You guys are
Alright,
really-
yeah. We're up on. Oh god.
Yeah, the rock is a little sketchy. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Your friends are lost in the fog underneath the water. I need your choice, strength or dexterity save, Therathari and Jara.
Well, it's not going to be strength, let me tell you that much.
You need to beat a DC of 17.
All right.
Oh
15
lord.
and up.
15.
Wait, is this a saving throw or
Saving
just a
throw.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't.
Got a 15.
I got a
Question.
15. Wait, it's a 17?
Yes.
Fuck.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Can we see either of them?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, fuck. Well, I can't help you there.
Yes. So you guys are pulled underwater by some creature. Yeah. And you are being pulled, just so both of you know, towards the center somewhere. You are being pulled at a pretty rapid pace. You're not
Do
taking
we
any
see-
damage.
Do we see any movement underneath? Like the
Yeah,
surface
would
of
we
the
be able to
water?
see where they
Like, are
are?
there ripples or anything?
So
Like just the general area.
it's really hard to depict on this. There is a pretty thick layer of fog.
Okay, gotcha.
But what's your passive perceptions?
11.
12.
And what's Maury's? Does Maury have one?
Maury gets a 10, just a straight 10. Oh, wait,
Okay.
wait, 16.
Okay.
16.
There are bubbling noises around you, so it's hard, but you do hear a disturbance of water. And it's kind of telling you softly it's in this direction. Because they are
Okay.
being pulled.
Iris is going to look over at Felix. So, you can at least mount Maury. I don't have to breathe, so I'll be right back.
Right before you leave, we roll initiative.
Oh, shit!
All right. I'll give everybody a chance. I will roll as well.
Yep.
This is one of the few encounters I did not pre-roll for. You'll see behind the curtain a little bit. Okay. Pre-roll. All right, 25 to 20.
Natural 20, baby, for a
What'd
total
you-
of 23.
23.
Dirty
Alright.
20.
Dirty 20. Thari's coming up wrong. Okay. 19 to 15.
I got a 15.
Wow.
17.
You guys
Let's go.
are killing
Wow,
it.
we killed it. I think that's
That's-
our best initiative
that's
ever.
not
That is our best party initiative
It's
ever.
not even close. That is the best. Not even close. All right. That's really good for you guys, bad for me.
Take it.
All right, let me change the music. You're no longer in discovery mode. You are in combat, friends. This one. Okay. So, Felix. 2 friends are missing. You heard a faint ripple effect pointing towards the center of the lake. Knowing the hostility of the water, what are you doing?
So Felix would like to cast, knowing the general area, and given that this is a, what is it? Sorry, wrong spell. Hold on. Given that this is a 20-foot cube, I think I have a good, margin of error.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast Fairy Fire on where I think Jara and Therathari are.
Okay.
And I believe, I don't know if it says that they can willingly fail, but if they can, hopefully they do. The saving
Alright.
throw, I mean.
Yeah. So,
It doesn't explicitly say that they can
But
willingly
do I
fail.
want to? Doesn't that make it easier to hit?
Yeah, but then we can see you, and we can do all sorts of things because we can see you.
So I will say this: the way we have ruled it,
And also, whatever's pulling you down would theoretically have to make the save as well.
I think for an effect like this, it doesn't say willing, right? So I feel like the way that we should maybe rule that is it's you have to have a saving throw. My thought is there are some spells where it's like the target has a choice.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. For some spells, it does say that they can willingly fail. Yeah.
So I think because that is explicitly said in some cases, I think it's intentional when it's not. So I'm going to rule
Okay.
on that and say it's just going to have to be a roll. Does that sound fair?
Okay. That sounds totally fair.
By me.
Okay. So both of you, you're concentrating, assuming this hits, but both of you
Yeah.
roll me a dexterity saving.
Well, does he do
19.
the correct area? I'm assuming then.
Yes, he did.
Okay. I also got a 19.
All right,
Okay.
you both succeed. But does the thing that's pulling them is that caught in the cube?
Oh, I have to roll. Thank you. Of course. Dex?
Yeah.
50.
That fails. Let's go.
Okay.
Perfect.
So
Yeah, this is fine. This is the equivalent. This is actually, I think, best case scenario.
Second token is loading. I'll move to where it actually is. Give me a sec.
Corpse flower. Is that actually what it is, or is that just?
I'll describe it, but this is pretty accurate.
Jeez, Therthar, are you 69 in that?
That's terrifying.
Okay. It's actually submerged, so I'm just gonna delete this thing 'cause it's in the way. All right. So what you guys are more like back here. What you see outlined is a bunch of these like almost large Venus flytrap like bulbs that are closed, and these large tendrils, vine tendrils that kind of slither out in every direction in like a 360. And you see this large clump. It's just outlined. You don't really see the details, but you gather, and the tentacle is certainly glowing, and you can see your allies being pulled in by two of them towards it. Okay, Felix, is that your turn?
Yes. Was that like a surprise round? I forget how nat 20s work.
No, nat
I don't get
20
them
is
very
you just you're first in the initiative.
Oh, I'm just first. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So anything else? You have bonus action and movement. You're also concentrating.
I am concentrating. I do have a bonus action and movement. Let's see. Anything I want to.
And then
Drink.
Thera is on deck.
I don't think I have. Yeah, actually, for my bonus action. Oh no, that's concentration as well, isn't it? Oh. Okay, a bit of a conflict there. That's fine. Yeah, I'm good with my bonus action. I'll just move. I don't know. I'm fine where I am as well. I think I'm good.
I had a
Okay.
quick question.
Sure.
When the fairy fire hit, we said that like the tendrils of it, the vines were moving. Was the entity itself moving in a direction, or was it just
No.
being highlighted?
It is
Okay.
stationary, at least
Okay.
for, that you can see.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. That ends Felix. Thera, you are up.
Therathari has no idea what he wants to do.
Yeah, so if you would like to, you are technically grappled and restrained right now. I know it seems kind of cheap because it was only on a d20, but you are a percentage roll, but you also rolled for dexterity, so I don't feel as bad. So in order to break that, you'd have to break your grapple.
Okay, I guess he's gonna try to do that.
Okay, your choice between standard breaking of grapple, which is athletics or acrobatics.
Acrobatics.
Okay, go ahead and roll. DC of 17.
That is a 13.
Okay, so you are still pulled in. I believe restrain.
Still.
Uh,
Oh no.
restrained creatures speed 0, can't benefit any bonus. Attack rolls have advantage. And creature disadvantage on dex. So yeah, I mean, you technically could do any bonus action that doesn't require somatic. Not somatic. Probably verbal and somatic because you're underwater and restrained.
Yeah. Yep, that would be nothing.
Okay. Unfortunate. You do see the tendril in the water pulling you, this murky water. It is lit up like a Christmas tree. You see it wrapped around you and pulling you towards your exact location, Therathari, is right here. I think where I had you. And then Jara is adjacent to you. This square. And these should be X's. Okay. So I think that's unfortunately it for you. I apologize.
Yeah, that's it.
Jara, same thing for you.
I mean, just because I'm underwater, I can still talk. It just comes out underwater, right? So.
I guess we're not tracking your air at the moment. So the way we ruled it is it's your Constitution modifier in minutes. So what is your Con modifier, Jara?
Well, I want a Misty Step, and it's verbal.
Oh, okay. So if I'm gonna extend that to you, I can extend that to Tom. So let's back up, Tom. You can do a verbal.
It doesn't have a somatic component because I'm grappled. But
The only
it's
problem
just
is, where are you looking?
verbal. I don't know. We could maybe make a roll to see how well I could do that, but
Sure.
we back up to Tom though.
Yeah. So Tom, you could do any verbal, and that's it.
But not somatic.
No, you are restrained.
Theratari only has verbal somatic paired
Okay.
on his spells, so he's doing nothing. Actually, wait. We have a feature. Well, okay. How do you want to rule bardic inspiration? Can I talk to someone underwater?
You have to
I think
see them.
They
don't
have to
you?
hear you. I think and they have to hear you. I think as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
they have to hear you.
Yeah, so I don't think that would work.
Okay. Then, yeah.
Good looking
nothing.
out though. Good question. All right, Jara. You would like to Misty Step, yeah?
I would like to attempt to Misty Step.
All right. Roll me a perception. I'm going to tell you right now. This is going to be a very difficult perception roll. It's going to be DC 18.
Okay, just flat though.
Flat perception roll.
All right, let's see. All right, I will. That's not gonna do it. I got a 10.
Okay, yeah. The water is very murky. You're being pulled rather quickly, and not a good situation for you. But you still could do other. You have anything else verbal?
Could I just Misty Step out of its grasp, just to like break the grapple? Like, because presumably I could see just in front of me where I'm not grappled.
That feels like a kind of a, I don't know.
I'm just asking the question. However you want to roll it.
I feel like if I allow that, then we're in dangerous territory.
Okay, that's fine.
I would say you have to Misty Step to a place that is not in your square
Okay.
or hex.
All right, you said acrobatics, or well, it's definitely gonna be acrobatics
Or
because-
athletics,
Well, athletics. is
DC
negative
17.
one, so
Not an easy one.
nope. All right. There you
Right.
go.
You are still grappled.
I don't think that helps. That's the way. Yeah, never mind. All right. Yep, that's it.
All right, Iris. You and Maury.
All right. So, with the tendrils, the vines being highlighted, about how deep into the water do they all seem to be?
The water is probably, how tall is your player character?
Iris?
It's
Fuck,
like
how tall is-
maybe 3 feet, 3.5 feet deep. 4
Okay,
maybe.
so it's not like they're being like pulled down into like an abyss. It's just kind of like,
Where you're at, it's only 4 feet, but it may go deeper.
oh, okay. Well, Iris doesn't need to breathe, so she's gonna try and go pretty deep. So 5, 10, I suppose, for getting down from the tree. 15, 20. I'm assuming there's like
You're in double movement.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to go 5, 10 for getting down to the tree, 15, 20, 25, 30. And I imagine like I'd be able to see like a tendril around here.
Yeah, it's gripping Therathari beneath you.
All right. So at this section of the bog, how far, like how deep is it?
If you stood, what is your? It's probably above 6 feet at this point.
Okay, Iris is submerged. But
Yeah.
She also doesn't need to breathe. So we're going to go and we're going to attempt to, with 2 swings, hack at the vine that is pulling Theratharian.
Okay, make an attack. Make your melee.
Okay, so rulings before I roll things. Fairy Fire gives me advantage. I'm submerged. Am I still able to see underneath what's going on there? How murky
Well,
is this water?
you can see the tendril because it's highlighted for you.
Okay, word. All right, so
Yeah.
so attacks with advantage. Let's hit it.
Yes.
Okay, so the first one is going to be a 17 or a 19 to hit.
They both hit. Yep.
Okay. The second will be. It's either going to be an 11, which definitely doesn't, or another 19. Okay, so
Yep.
that's going to be for the gem sword. 1d8, 2, 7. 8 points of slashing on the first hit, and 14 points slashing on the second.
Okay. That is enough to cut the tendril. Does not have too many hit points. You feel the grasp around your waist, Therathari, loosen as the vine writhes back into the center of this corpse flower. You are no longer grappled and restrained, Therathari.
Very nice.
And then bonus action, Iris is going to command Mori to try and get close, like either free Jara or get closer to the corpse flower, whichever one is easier to do.
Sure.
Which I think, because Mori's over here, it'd be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, if that is kosher.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so that's cool. Mori's definitely bigger than Iris, so Mori's head is probably still sticking out, but the
Yeah,
rest
slightly.
of the body is still. All right, and we're going to do a force-empowered rend against the tentacle.
Sure. Vine arm.
Okay, it's going to be a 16 or a 23 to hit.
Yep.
And that one's going to be, oh, that's not great. Only 4 points of force damage.
Okay. Not enough to break it, but this like force of water is like force moves through the water, kind of disrupting it. You hear a splash on the surface there, Athari, as more like gas is kind of released from it. Either Mori attacked something or Mori farted. You don't really know.
That's our turn.
That's our turn. Yes.
Jara's going, can Mori fart?
Okay. Great. Good turn. It is now its go. It is going to pull you in, and it can pull you the full length.
Weird question.
Sure.
Does that provoke an attack of opportunity?
It sure would.
All right, Mori's going in, and I don't know if Iris is close enough to get that attack either.
Iris would
Mori.
not be, but Mori would
Okay,
be.
Yeah.
so it's just Mori. Okay, word. It's going to be a 13 or a 23 to hit.
Yep.
All right, and that's going to be 10 points of force damage.
That is just enough
Ugh.
to sever the tie. So as the tendril, this vine is pulled, gets to about here, and right as it's pulled from Mori's range, a big claw comes down, severs it completely. You actually see, Felix, it breach the surface and come back down and get sucked back into the main body of the plant. Now that you are freed, you're no longer grappled and restrained. And also, because Felix has intelligently put fairy fire on this, you guys will only roll a dex save and not put it up to chance for any further attempts to grab you, so long as that thing is illuminated. Which,
Nice.
that is a big part of this encounter that was tough.
Excellent.
A large percentage chance to get tagged. But we're at time, so we're gonna go through the next rounds of combat, starting at the top next.
Did
Sounds
the corpse flower get its turn yet? Just to make sure we have parity.
It did. Let me see if it can do anything else, 'cause that's its action.
Yeah, its turn was pulling.
Okay,
or
word. It
attempting
was
to pull
that
Jara.
was its turn. Okay, word.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it can do.
Okay, word. So we're at the top of the initiative order now.
Yeah, it would have pulled in and attacked in one, so that's why it's a full action for him.
Okay, excellent.
And Jared, I'm just gonna warn you. For my next turn, I have a bunch of like rules questions that I need to ask. So I'll ask those in between.
Sure,
this
whatever.
Session and next
Yeah,
session.
Happy to answer. But that's it, folks. You guys are in the midst of another battle here.
All right.
Weird ass corpse flower.
I gotta say, like, Iris bails us out a lot.
To be honest
It's
with
just-
you, I think that started with Felix.
The fairy fire is what started it.
It's a team.
It's a team effort.
It's
Team
effort,
true.
yeah.
I'm just saying, like, Iris has everything the rest of the team is lacking.
It's
And
great.
yeah,
That's what I built her
pretty
for.
great.
Yeah, it's almost like Paul built her to fill in our weaknesses.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that you know, I designed the encounter to be difficult in one area, and you guys completely mitigated. It's very as a DM, of course, you know, these are my enemies, so I want them to do well. But you guys just play well.
Yeah.
It's really good. I ain't mad. And there's more
Well,
to come.
this was a fun session. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Quite the side quest. This one.
It's no old wood. You'll finish it next session for sure. But yeah,
Yo, this shit's wild.
that's right.
And another deity down. It's 2.
Yeah. Right.
You got to go through the whole
One at a time.
pantheon. By the
We
Yeah,
get
time
through the whole pantheon. We get a free ice cream.
there's no one left. All right. Until next
All right.
week. Thank
We'll
you guys.
catch y'all next Monday.
Yes,
See ya.
sir.
See ya.